Hayan here from Eclipse Capital with another market forecast video for this week. So just to quickly go over some of the fundamentals that are coming out this week. So we had manufacturing PMI come out for the Great British Pound early in the morning. We've got manufacturing PMI for the US dollar coming out in about 15 minutes. And then tomorrow on Tuesday, the 24th of September, we've got the Royal Bank of Australia with the interest rate decision, consumer confidence from the US dollar tomorrow at 3 p.m. UK time. On Wednesday, we've got crude oil inventories and new home sales crude oil inventories at 3:30, new home sales at 3 p.m. And then Thursday, GDP for the US dollar, so American GDP, followed by initial jobless claims, both at 1:30 p.m. With the Fed chair Powell speaking at 2:20, and on Friday wraps up the week with core PCE price index at 1:30 p.m. UK time. So last week we had the interest rate decision for the US dollar. Rate cuts by 50 base points last week, which is why we saw quite a few assets taking 100.21. Now, in my opinion, there's a lot of liquidity on the DXY to the upside. We still have a fair share of liquidity that we could tackle on the downside, as we can see previous weekly swing low, another weekly swing low which was taken out on the 26th of August, so about a month ago, and now price has just been ranging within this zone. But for this week, in fact, possibly for maybe later on in the New York session, but possibly around Tuesday, Wednesday, we could see price on the DXY coming back down into this area, which is my 1 hour demand zone. Now, why is this demand zone quite significant? Well, simply because we took out this buyer's liquidity and then pushed to the upside. We also have this area of supply that we could potentially mark out if price wants to continue ranging within this zone, within this area. So what price can do, in my opinion, is come down, take out this internal liquidity, and then move to the upside. Of course, price can take out this area of liquidity as well, and then come down to take out previous week's low. But for now, I would like to see price come into this demand zone, taking out this liquidity. Anyone that's in buys from this long, that long, or anywhere even around here, price would take them out and then move to the upside, and then potentially we could see price whether it wants to react from this area of supply or take out previous week's high and then have this dump to the previous week low. That would be very nice. So either within that zone or above that, I would look to take sales. However, obviously we will see how price reacts once price gets into these areas. Again, like I said, once price does come down into this area, we will look to see how price reacts before we take that long, because price can either come into this area and then take that long, or come down, take out this liquidity area, or even this point, and then move to the upside. However, rate cuts on dollar would mean that there is further downside for this currency, or with this basket of currencies in the DXY. On the higher time frame, the bit of a tongue twister, weekly time frame, we can, as it was marked out, I think in the last or the one before that market forecast that we did, there's still liquidity to the downside. There's these equal lows over here. There's this trend line liquidity where there could be buyers around at this low or even at this low, which price will eventually take out, and of course all the way down here as well. Um, so that is my outlook on the DXY. Ideally, again, like I said, price comes down and then takes that long, which means on the other side of the spectrum, which is the US dollar, sorry, Euro USD. Um, let's look at this in a higher time frame perspective. So this was the monthly high, marked out again quite some time ago. Price did take that out, have a bit of a reaction. Initiated sells, however, looks like price is gonna go higher, take that out one more time. Now it'll be interesting to see if price takes out this previous week low and then goes higher, or if price was to take this, go low, and then go higher. So since the Euro USD is it moves basically, it's an inverse correlation. It moves as an inverse correlation to the DXY. So if on the DXY we're expecting price to come down and then move higher, this simply means that we will expect price on the Euro USD to come up and then take out all these liquidity points, and then of course move to the upside. So long term on Euro, I am quite bullish. If we look at Euro on a monthly perspective, if you've been in the group on our Discord, or generally just having a chit chat with me or any of our other senior traders, what we marked out, or what we sort of analyzed on a long term perspective, was that Euro, there's a lot of liquidity to the upside. There's this one that we can clearly see, this trendline liquidity for price to go over and target. And of course, if you look at the way price action has been moving, this seems like a reaccumulation, sort of a schematic. So price took out this low over here, bringing in, moved higher. If anyone's trying to sell from anywhere around here, price induced those sellers with this push down, came into this area of demand, and then is now looking to push to the upside. So similar, so we look at the macro perspective, the macro forecast of these currencies, and then try and fit in our higher probability trades accordingly. So if we're long on the dollar on the higher time frame, it would be wise to take long trades. Of course, we will take short trades as well, but in terms of going along with the overall macro perspective and the macro trend, we would be looking to buy the euro dollar. Was this move today? Yes, so today in the morning, price did have this huge dump to the downside, inducing sellers, and then where did price react from? This area of demand. Quite simple. And then from here we can see that price, all of these sellers that have been induced will eventually be taken out, and for price to take out this previous weekly high and this weekly swing high as well, from this high that was created on, again, a month ago, which was on the 26th of August. For today, no real trades for me. However, nothing in terms of analysis wise as well, where I would have taken something. Price did react off this area and then had this push to the upside. However, I will be coming back tomorrow, or possibly even New York, to see if there are any trade setups, because price, ideally, if we want to go along with our overall analysis, we would be looking to take buys on this. So what could happen is, if price just gives us a pullback of any kind, we'll look to take those buys, taking out these liquidity areas, coming down, possibly taking out the previous week's low, and then really having that push to the upside. But of course, we will see how price reacts once the market shows us, once the market comes into our significant areas where we will look to take any sort of trades from. GBP USD. Now, if we look at GBP USD on, again, a grand scheme of things, back in 2022 September, price came down to a level which it had previously gone to back in 1985. So overall on GBP USD, this is the monthly time frame. We can see we are at very low prices, and there is a lot of liquidity to the upside on the pound dollar on the cable. One of the liquidity areas you could mark out is this, again, just like with what was it, just like with Euro USD on the monthly. We've got this trend line liquidity. Similarly on GBP USD, this trend line liquidity on the monthly. And again, what did price do? Came up, induced sellers, thinking that anyone that looks at candlestick patterns, anyone that looks at engulfing candles and everything, they would have been looking at this price action. Once this loads, yep, this price action, thinking that GBP USD is now ready to continue to the downside, go deeper. However, what actually happened was that price, once it induced all these sellers, it had a pullback. Again, anyone that's looking at demand and supply in an incorrect way, they would have been seeing this area as an area of supply for price to then continue going down. However, I cannot speak today. However, what happened was that price came into this area, had a bit of a push to the downside. Again, this is on the monthly, so on the smaller time frames, this candle which left as left as a wick, this would have been quite bearish in the beginning, and then had that push up. So a lot of people would have been looking to sell, or even looking at this candle as an engulfing of 1, 2, 3, 4 previous months worth of price action, and then looking to add further sales. However, what happened was we came into this area of demand after price induced all those sellers, came into this area, and then now it's having that push up, which I believe we did point out in the previous market forecast videos that we are quite bullish on GBP USD overall. Of course, we were looking for price to come down into levels of demand for that push to the upside to continue. However, we didn't get those deeper retracements, which doesn't mean we won't in the future. It just means that right now GBP USD is very bullish. So overall, as I was saying, GBP USD in a quite low area. There's a lot of room to the upside where price can still go to. On the weekly time frame, this is the previous weekly high, previous weekly low, which we've marked out. Quite simple. We've got this daily area of supply, which I was looking at price to give us some sort of a reaction from, which we did sort of get a reaction, but not the one that we would have ideally wanted to take a short trade. But what we've seen is that Friday's low was taken out with in the morning, and then now price is looking to push to the upside, again inducing sellers, and then looking to take them out, so that previous weekly high could be taken out, and then price could give us some sort of a retracement for a sell trade. For this though, what I would like to do is let me just quickly mark this out, and then I'll explain why it is that I'm marking this level out, and why it could be seen as something that's significant. Now, when price had this big push down, it took out these lows. So taking out anyone that's looking to buy from these areas, and then now looks like it's having that greater push to the upside. So once price does take this previous weekly high, we could again see price coming down and then continuing to the upside. So liquidity was taken, no retest as of yet. Strong bullish candles. This is on the hourly. So we could have that retracement again, inducing a lot of sellers, and then having that push to the upside on GBP USD. Of course, that doesn't mean that we can't break this level. The market can do whatever it wants. So once price does come down into this level, we will look for our entry pattern, our entry criteria to be met before we take any sort of long trade on GBP USD. Or again, on the flip side, once price breaks this weekly high, this weekly liquidity point, for us to wait for our entry criteria to be met before we look to take any sells. So far, price has been quite bullish. We will look at the lower time frame to see if there are any sells present. What could happen, of course, again, completely open to the idea of price. Oh, that's the news that came out at 2:45. So as I was saying, what could happen is price can induce further sellers, possibly from this news, induce further sellers for price to actually come down into this area. And to be fair, ideally this is what I would want, because that just means that more liquidity is being built up. So price to come down, give us some sort of entry, and then to take out that weekly high from last week. So if we do find that, I would look to take a trade for that long. But if not, we'll just stay patient. But those are the sort of significant levels for this week and sort of this week's analysis. Further shorts on the dollar. We'll see where price comes into. Of course, again, price can come into this or even take out this previous weekly low, building up more liquidity that is present all the way here. If that happens, then I would prefer that, to be honest, because if there's a lot of liquidity that we can see, that means there's a lot of liquidity that we can target. So price literally moves from one liquidity area to another, and that is how we can basically simplify our analysis and what we see on the charts. So that's my weekly analysis. I will be updating the group chat on Discord, so our Discord community, which has been quite active in recent days, which is very nice to see. So there will be a lot more content coming out on our Discord channel from next Monday or next Tuesday, where we've got our first live webinar with anyone that's in the community, completely free. And then on Wednesday we'll have a Q&A and a crypto session for anyone that likes to invest and has any questions regarding the crypto market. On Friday we've got a case study that will be coming out. So any trades that I take, I'll make a case study on why I took those trades, what were my thought processes, what was my reasoning, what was my analysis, what was my entry, and everything will be shared on the Discord channel. So make sure you've joined that. If you haven't, go to our social media accounts, which I'll put down in the description of this video for more updates and on how to join our Discord channel. And if you've got any questions, by all means, either message us on our social media or on our Discord channel. And if you are on our Discord channel, there's a lot to be excited about. So hope you guys have a great week. Take care, and I'll catch you soon.